talking to you about hell. And what I want from you is that hell exists. I repeat, hell exists. But why, you ask? Why does hell exist? Hell, if God is so good, why would God make a hell? Well, let me ask you a question. Is gold good? How did you shape it? Did you have to heat it up under intense heat to shape it, to make the rings, the diamond rings that y'all love to covet after and use in marriage ceremonies? What about those diamonds and how they were forged to become diamonds that you covet after because you need to have a diamond ring. You need to be able to give a woman a diamond ring. How did that diamond become a diamond? What did it start out as? What did it have to pass through to become a diamond? The best, most valuable things in life had to pass through hell to become what they are right now and today. And so if you refuse to pass through hell, then you refuse to become a diamond. You refuse to become a piece of gold, jewelry. You refuse to be valuable, and you deserve to burn in hell for eternity. Selah. Reflect on that. It's not just that. How about a good meal? You sit up there and day after day you pass good food. First of all, you killed the chickens. The chickens were once alive, but you end up sending them to hell because you say it's for your own good that those chickens go to hell. You send chickens to hell. You send pigs to hell. You send cows to hell. You send vegetables. You send trees to hell. You even tell the trees they're going to have to go to hell. You put the plants in hell. But before hell, you place them in purgatory, don't you? You might rinse them off a little with some water to remove the soil that was on them. You might chop them up. That's purgatory. That's where we are now. We're in purgatory now. Purgatory is now and today. It's not tomorrow. It's not yesterday. It's right now and today is your purgatory. This is your chance to get chopped up. This is your chance for God to prune you. You're supposed to be a tree right now. How you going to know anything about being a tree if you don't smoke them? You got to learn how to be a tree. You need to go get you some weed and smoke some weed and become a tree. You eat trees, but you don't smoke them. You need to do everything you could possibly do with a tree. You need to eat a tree. You need to clean yourself with a tree. We clean ourselves with trees, don't we? But we forget that it's a tree, a eucalyptus plant, or aloe, or whatever it is. We're cleaning ourselves with trees. That means we are trees. We be trees. So that means to say you got to go through the process that a tree goes through, and you can't be sitting up there talking about you don't want to go through the process. Baby, a tree don't just consume water. A tree gets their limbs cut off, baby. A tree get pruned. When was your last pruning? When did you get your arm chopped off? No, just let me know. I'm just wondering. Oh, so you don't like that kind of teaching. But Jesus Christ said you need to pluck out an eyeball. He said it need to hurt. You need to see something that hurt. You need to go find something. You need to go see something that hurt. How about you stay home and you do not leave your home and you don't pick up the phone, you don't call no friends, Don't call no family. And you stay there and you seek God until you can hear God for yourself. How about that? Because let me tell you something, you're not going to avoid hell. So if you don't go through hell right now, bitch, willfully, if you're not going through hell right now willfully, I promise you, you will go unwillingly later. So you can play with it if you want. I don't give a shit. It don't make me no never mind because I'm going to be all right. Because I go through hell on a daily. That's what Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was telling us. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was showing us that you're supposed to be going through hell on a daily basis. You should be going through a fiery crucible on a day. If you eat a good meal, bitch, if you want to be a good chef, you got to go through that fiery crucible every day. How you going to sit up there and talk about you going to cook somebody's food, but you don't know anything about how an oven works? You don't know the inner workings of an oven, but you're going to cook my food on a daily basis? Nigga, I think not. You tripping. You ain't cooking my food, and you ain't even never been in no oven. No, Jesus is cooking my food. Jesus is cooking my food. You're not cooking my food, and you ain't never been through no fucking furnace. But Jesus goes through the furnace day in, day out. He makes up every component of the furnace. So yeah, I depend on Jesus to make my food. I ain't depending on y'all bitch asses, y'all nigga asses to make my food. Nah, I don't think so. No. I'm depending on Jesus. He can make my food just fine. Right. So if Jesus is the bread, what does that mean? That means if you want to be familiar with him, then you need to go pull out a piece of bread from your refrigerator and go find him in that bread because he's there. That's what that means. He is the bread of life. That means to say, yep, he there. So you need to go figure out from that piece of bread. You need to go get yourself a Bible, pick up your loaf of bread, and start examining that Bible and that bread and try to see how are you in this piece of bread? And how is it that I just ate you? And how is it that I've been taking communion all my life and I didn't even know it? What about taxes? What about tithing? So many of you say, I gotta tithe, I gotta tithe, I gotta tithe. You've been tithing all your life. That's why you keep having to tithe. Because you still ain't learned the lesson. Niggas, your money has been taken. You keep paying him. Whether you like it or not, you keep paying Jesus your tithe. You've been doing it. Niggas, you've been doing it. I'm telling you right now that you need to find out what makes you happy. And you need to ask yourself, if what you're doing doesn't make you happy, then why the fuck are you still doing it? If it makes you happy to pay tithe every Sunday, then go on and pay it. If it doesn't make you happy to pay tithe every Sunday, then stop paying it. Does it make you happy to pay taxes? Then pay it. Does it not make you happy to pay taxes? Then stop paying it. Because, truth be told is that it's going to get paid. It's going to get paid. Because this is Jesus' reality, not yours. And you're just a pawn. In his reality. So what you have to ask yourself is, how high up on the totem pole do I really want to be? How close to the top of the executive ladder do I really want to be? How close to Jesus do I really want to be? Do I want to be all up in Jesus' face, always reporting to Jesus daily? Taking care of Jesus' needs and concerns around perhaps the globe or even the universe? What do you want? Well, whatever you want, live that way now. That's the key. And understand that hell is a normal part of life. Because in order to have order, you need chaos. And you cannot have order without chaos. It's just impossible. And likewise, you cannot have chaos without order. Once you have something ordered, you need to tend to chaos again. And it goes back and forth infinitely. Because it never broke, because it never stopped. It always was. Okay? And God is both sides. But the question is, which side do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the terrible side that hurts forever, or the great side that feels good and pleasurable forever? And then from there, you got to ask yourself, what kind of pleasures do you want to pursue forever? What makes you tick? What makes you happy? Okay, I was just posting this post for a second. So again, if you've ever had a good meal, you understand the importance of hell. Because you have passed chickens to hell. You have passed trees to hell. You have passed all living things, you have passed to hell. So I don't care if you're a vegan, and I don't care if you're a meat eater. Everyone has passed something that was living into hell at once in their life. Every single person on this planet. If you've chewed on a plant, you passed that plant through hell. Because that plant had to go to your stomach. And the stomach is filled with acid to consume and to break down that living thing. And especially if you're vegan, you sit up there talking about you got to eat living things. It's got to be living as you eat it. So you really are a wreck. Because it's like you're not just killing the chicken first and then eating the chicken. You're eating the chicken while it's, clucking. Because you're saying you want to eat it while it's living. Okay? So you're all monsters, it turns out. You're monsters. It turns out we're all monsters. We have stomachs that are these highly acidic environments that are used to break down living things. And break down things, objects that were once whole, and break them down. Come on, think about your body is a living furnace. We have a high temperature we have to maintain all the time. Pretty high temperature if you think about it. It's certainly above room temperature. Our body temperature has to be higher than room temperature. And then even for animals like dogs and cats, their body temperature is even higher than ours. Without the sun, life on earth could not be sustained. The sun is hell. Have anybody ever traveled to the sun and stepped foot on the sun? Tell me. When? And the sun is essential for life on earth. Something that if you touched it, if you could, would burn you up to bit. If you got too close to the sun, if you were able to just, if you had an astronaut suit on and you were in space and we let you out into space and you drifted just too close, or just a little too close to the sun, then it would burn you into smithereens. You're telling me that hell doesn't exist. And you already know that the sun exists. And that the sun would mortally destroy you were you to get anywhere in vicinity. You know you can't even stare at the sun for too long. You know hell exists, dumbass. It does. If the sun exists, hell exists. You can't even stare at the sun too long before your eyes fucked up. But you gonna tell me that there ain't no hell. But you can't even stare at the sun long enough to see what's going on inside the sun before it starts damaging your eyes just from looking at the sun. But you gonna tell me that hell doesn't exist. But you just had an encounter with hell. Because one thing you can't do is keep watching the sun forever unless you have a filter over your eyes. But even if you were to try to watch, let's just say you had a filter over your eyes and you're looking at the sun forever, the question is, will that make you happy? If it makes you happy to stare at the sun forever, then that's what you're going to be doing forever. Just staring at the sun. Some of you just love staring at the sun. And what's going to happen is you're going to die and you're going to go to heaven. And all you're going to be able to do is stare at the sun. You are not going to be able to move. You're not going to be able to express yourselves. You're not going to be able to choose even the flavor of the meal you're eating. I'm telling you right now that the worst thing to lose is your ability to choose. I repeat, the worst thing to lose is your ability to choose. You need to belong to some type of agency. That means you need to have some type of agency. That means you need to make a choice. What company do you belong to? What choice have you made? Which company did you choose? Did you choose a company just to make ends meet? And you weren't happy with it? Okay. Well, you know what that means, right? You always going to be in a company of making ends meet forever. You're not coming out. You'll just be able to make ends meet forever. If that's what you want to do, then enjoy yourself. Enjoy making ends meet. Right? So what does that mean? Look at a loaf of bread. The ends of the loaf of bread are the two most ignored parts because it's just lost all the kind of fullness of the loaf of the bread, of having a piece of the bread. It's still a piece of the bread, but it's the part that you don't want to make a sandwich with. So people who never make a choice, right, are pretty much always relegated to making ends meet. They always going to be having those last two slices of bread to eat. They always going to have their bills just paid right on time. They're always going to be making ends meet. They're always going to be getting a certain salary every, period. Whether it be 2 weeks or whatever, they're always going to be getting that certain salary. It's always going to be enough just to make ends meet, meaning their needs will be fulfilled. But they will have nothing else done. They will not have no wants. They will not have no desires. So they'll have all their needs fulfilled, but they won't have any of their wants fulfilled because you never went into eternity with a want. You didn't have a care in the world. You could care less. There's got to be something that you care about. There's got to be someone that you care about. Is there? Do you care about yourself at least? You got to at least care about yourself. I don't think God is telling us don't care about yourself. I think God is saying, in fact, throughout Scripture, He tells us to care about ourselves. He says, take care of yourself like God cares for the church. Take care of yourself like a husband should a wife. Take care of yourself. So Jesus is always telling us to take care of ourselves. You can have more selves to yourself, meaning more definitions, more titles to your name. But how would you know that you had a title to your name? Which you would have to go to the Creator. You would have to have been talking to the Creator in order to know what titles you have to your name and all that kind of thing. But if you're not talking to the Creator and you're just performing, it's like earth to you, hello, wake up. You're not really talking to the Creator. It's just a performance. We all have to have those moments where we go through that crucible. And when we go through that crucible, we learn something about ourselves that we don't like. And we ask God to get rid of that part of us that we don't like. And then we learn things about ourselves that we do like. And we say, God, keep that part that I like and make it better. And we have an active role in our development. So you should take an active first row seat in your development into who you really want to be, into who you really want Jesus to have you be. What makes you tick? What is your why? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you participate in the rat race called life? What are you looking forward to? That needs to be how you live right now. Take it from me. Trust me, I know. I look forward to having women. So I live in the now as if I have women. Lots of women. Regardless of whether they're here or not. That makes me happy. And I'm going to stay there until it gets fulfilled. Until God shows me something different. But I'm going to stay there right now and today. Because that's where I want to be. Right now and today. As long as it is called right now and today. And every next moment is an opportunity for it to be called right now and today. And we will continue to have these opportunities because life will never cease because life lives. That's the essence of life. Life lives. Life can't cease living. And death is a part of life. Therefore, death can't cease living. But the issue is it a bad, harsh environment living for a very long time, which is for eternity? And absolutely it is. Hell is eternal. You're either going to have it now or you're going to have it later. And can I tell you something? You're always going to have it now. So you might as well just enjoy it now. So hell is with you. Hell is with you. If you've ever had a good meal, hell was with you in that oven. If you've ever had a diamond ring, hell was with the carbon that forged into diamond. And hell was with the gold that was shaped into the ring. And pulled and drawn and pressed and all that kind of stuff. Hell was there. And if you're going to be as valuable and as coveted as a diamond ring and as special as a diamond ring, then I can tell you right now that you're going to have to go through hell right now and today. Stop trying to put off hell to the future. Stop trying to avoid hell. Go to hell right now and today. You don't have to worry about going to hell. Jesus has the keys to death, hell, and the grave. If you know that you will live after going through the grave, and you believe that, and you're a Christian, then you also must know that you will live after going to hell. And you must also know that you will live after going through death. So why don't you conquer your fear of the grave now? You need to go dig yourself a hole in the ground and stay there for an hour. Dig yourself into the ground and stay there for an hour. And if you think you need to stay there a little longer, then stay there a little longer. Until you overcome this fear of the grave. Because it is not that big of a deal. Stop being so afraid of a funeral and a tombstone and a graveyard. I remember one time I was traveling by bike. And I was tesseracting at the time. We all tesseract. And then I noticed it was giving me directions to go through a graveyard. Now, I'm not afraid of anything, right? Not even a graveyard. But I didn't feel like God was dealing with me to go through a graveyard at that moment. I didn't see why it really was necessary, you know. But for a lot of you, y'all need to go take a bike ride through a graveyard at night. Just a bunch of you guys just go out on a little excursion, a pilgrimage, and just take a trip to the graveyard at night. And just get rid of your fears of the grave. Bring your Bible with you. You want a church meeting, huh, men? This would be a great church meeting. Just organize a trip to the Bible, with your Bibles, to the graveyard, and talk down your fears of the grave. Because Jesus has the keys to the grave. That means the grave can be a pleasant experience. I repeat, the grave can be a pleasant experience. Jesus has the keys to hell. That means hell can be a pleasant experience. I repeat, that means hell can be a pleasant experience. Do you understand what that means? That means for those people who do not believe in Jesus Christ as their Lord and personal Savior, it will please them to be burnt to crisp over and over and over again to deeper and deeper intensities. It will make them happy to do that. They'll be happy to just burn Forever and the devil is happy to burn forever and ever and ever. It pleases the devil to burn. Because guess what? All glory does go to King Jesus Christ, regardless of what you thought or believed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm telling you right now, it's up to you. Hell exists. Wake up. Anything you've ever used that was hot is basically an example of hell. Hot is an example of hell. Cold is example of heaven. Blue is example of heaven. Red is example of hell. So if you've ever drank something cold and felt refreshed by it, you were feeling refreshed by heaven. Likewise, if you ever ate something hot and felt refreshed by that hot thing, you were feeling refreshed by hell. Some people love to drink tea. I don't love to drink tea, cold or hot. I just don't like the flavor of tea. But if I could have it, I'd probably want it cold. And with some liquor. That's the only time I like tea, actually. It's when it's sugar honey iced tea. Maybe I should stop that. I don't know. Should I like shit or not? I don't know. The Long Island iced tea. Lit. That's the only time I like iced tea is when it's lit. Long Island iced tea. It's got to be lit for me to like it. So that's the only time I drink iced tea is when it's lit. So what makes something lit? Alcohol. So you need to drink alcohol if you want to have a hellish experience. I drink alcohol on the regular. You have to drink alcohol. That's why Jesus Christ, his first miracle was to turn water into alcohol. But still, you always find a way to condemn people who drink liquor. You say they shouldn't get drunk, not knowing that actually the reason why you know that they are drunk is because you yourself is drunk. For that's how you understand what drunk looks like, because you're very familiar with drunk. You have a familiar spirit with drunk. So you know what drunk looks like. So when you see someone who's an alcoholic, right away you know that person is drunk. Why? Because you're drunk yourself. And if that makes you happy, pointing out how drunk someone else is, enjoy yourselves. Because that's what you're going to be doing in hell. You're going to be pointing out how much hell somebody else is going through while you going through hell yourself. Oh shit, my feet is on fire. Oh shit, his feet is on fire. Oh shit, her feet are on fire. Oh shit, my feet are on fire. Oh shit, their feet are on fire. Oh shit, my feet are on fire. That's what you're going to be doing for eternity. And in greater and greater intensity and depth forever and ever and ever. If that's what you want and how you want to live your life, enjoy yourselves. So one thing I'm not going to do is stress myself out because you're living your best lives. You're living life like it's golden. But at the same time you complaining. But you keep on, letting yourself complain. So you must be happy with your condition because you keep letting yourself complain about it. You never stopped yourself from complaining. You never just started being thankful. Because if you're thankful for where you're at, God will give you more and will elevate you. That's why it's so crucial to say thank you, even when you're going through the crucible. Thank you. He said maybe you'll get stronger next time, and that won't be a crucible anymore. Then you'll get some other challenge that becomes a crucible that elevates you higher and higher in the kingdom of God, and that's how promotion works. You got to be desensitized to the most uncomfortable aspects of life. Right? That means sometimes you do go from one comfort to the next comfort, but then other times you have to go into discomfort to find comfort again. So, yes, you want to go from one comfort to the next comfort, which is okay, but don't just stay at a comfortable level. Now you got to go down to a level of discomfort. And what happens is as you humble yourself from a comfortable level, now what begins to happen is you're now able to find comfort again. And that journey of finding comfort again is what grows you up and matures you, really. So it's really a process of being appointed and disappointed, being appointed and disappointed, being comfortable and being uncomfortable. Sometimes you go through a crucible, sometimes you don't go through a crucible. But it's those crucible experiences that really shape and tailor your character so that you can find out your true you and peel away at all of these other things that inhibit you from knowing who you really are. These other things that seem to just almost reflect you so much that you don't even know who you are anymore. It's like the next greatest craze, you're all on it because you don't even know who you are anymore. You don't even care anymore about what makes you happy. You're just bouncing from one latest social media craze to the next social media craze. And you're totally missing the real news and the real things that are happening. Because you're delayed now. You're delayed. What you see on television is not really happening. But you're going to watch it. No, what's really happening is what's in this Bible. That's what's really happening. This is what you need to be. You want to get your news? Every morning you need to turn on TV and read this. And listen to someone read this. And if you can't find nobody to listen to, then listen to yourself read it. And you can listen to yourself rap it. You can listen to yourself dance it. You can listen to yourself do whatever you need to do with it. Eat it, what else? Season your food with it. Massage yourself with it. Breathe with it. Smoke it. You can smoke the Bible anytime you want. But y'all too busy sitting up here. You want to smoke a cigarette. You sure about that? You really want to smoke a cigarette for the rest of eternity? What value does cigarettes have? I don't understand it. See, I like to smoke trees, right? That's fine. But just smoking a cigarette, for what? What does it do? That's just to make me rich. That's all that is. Right? Because it's really the addiction that keeps you hooked. You're hooked. The addiction hooks you, not your desire for it. Like for me, I have a desire for sex. That hooks me to sex. But you people don't stay hooked to sex because you don't have a desire for sex. No. But you do stay hooked to them cigarettes. I can tell you that. But if you really had a desire for sex, you would stay hooked to it. To the point where you would not stop having it. You would just never stop. Why did you stop? You got tired. Why did you get tired? Because you didn't want to do it anymore. Why did you not want to do it anymore? Because you don't like it. Why don't you like it? Why don't you like sex? Did you ask yourself these questions? There's no reason why you should have ever, once you started having sex, you should never have stopped. Why did you stop having sex? Sex is fun. But you're basically saying it's too much sex. Okay, well, if it's too much for you, then that's how it is. Sex is too much for you. So sex was just too much for you. That's why you stopped having it. Okay. You didn't think that maybe you could have asked God to make you stronger to handle more sex? I'm just thinking. You could have asked God to make you stronger so you could handle more sex. Yeah. God could do anything but fail, right? So he could make you a little stronger to handle a little more sex, right? Because you really like it, right? No, you don't like it. You don't like it. Because you wouldn't have asked for that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.